Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. It's so nice to see faces. So if you are able to put your cameras on, we would love to see you. We also understand that you may be in a situation where you can't do that, and that's okay. My name is Andy Engel, and I want to welcome you to the second event in a series, The Wisdom of Grieving Parents, Living with Loss and Love. I lead virtual public programs here at Reimagine. My colleague Nicole Tan is with me tonight, helping out on this Zoom gathering. So thank you, Nicole. A little bit about Reimagine for those who may not know. Reimagine is a nonprofit organization catalyzing a uniquely powerful community. People of different backgrounds, different ages, different races, different sexual orientations, different gender identities, people of faith, people of no faith, all coming together to support one another in facing adversity, loss, and mortality, and to transform life's biggest challenges into action and growth. Reimagine resources, support groups, events like this one today are free, sliding scale, and accessible to the public. This is made possible by the support and generosity of folks like you. So for those of you who made a tax-deductible donation when you registered for this event, thank you. Your gift will immediately support Reimagine's mission to help people of all walks of life transform the hard stuff into purpose and meaning. Last week, Myra Sack facilitated a conversation with Dion Monsanto. They are both here tonight, as well as Colin Campbell and Michelle Horde. This was a wonderful way to learn. We gathered to learn. Many of you in attendance were bereaved parents who lost their children to suicide, to drunk driving, to disease. We welcome those of you who have returned tonight, and we welcome new folks. I want to stress that for this series, we also warmly welcome the friends, family, and colleagues of bereaved parents who want to improve their grief literacy. How do I show up? What can I do? What should I say? This session is going to be more participatory in nature compared to last week. Myra is our primary guide for this workshop. I'm also grateful for her partnership and the fact that I'm also grateful that Dion is back with us tonight, and she will help us prepare for this workshop that Myra will lead with some breath work. Before we begin, I want to offer some Zoom tips. For those who wish, you can click on the CC icon to get a live transcript of what's being said. And if you'd like to see the recording of the full transcript, click on the CC icon and select the View Full Transcript option. And you can save and download the chat by clicking on the three dots within the chat box. If you have any technical issues, both Nicole and I can try to help you out. Just send us a private message. We are recording parts of this program. Everyone who registered for this workshop will get a follow-up email with a link to the video recording and information about Myra and Dion and the rest of the series. Okay. Just a bit more about Myra and Dion before we begin. You can read their full bios in the event description, but I don't want to take away too much time. So I will quickly say that Dion Monsanto is a longtime Reimagine collaborator. She's also my neighbor in Washington Heights, New York. And she has spoken at several past Reimagine events. She is a suicide loss survivor. She's a mental health educator. She's an advocate for individuals experiencing grief and tragic loss. She's also a yoga instructor. She's a dancer. The woman is a polymath. And she is the mother of Siwei. And Siwei has two surviving siblings. Myra Sack is no stranger to Reimagine either. She spoke last fall in our series on anticipatory grief. Her daughter Havi died at the age of 2 to Tay-Sachs, a rare genetic disease. Myra's an athlete. She's the mother of 2 living children. She's the founder of Emotion, a co-host of this series. And Myra, thanks again for being a midwife to this series. Both Dion and Myra have other things in common. They have enormous hearts and many other talents. What I appreciated about last week's panel discussion was the easy rapport among all of you. You all speak the same language, despite having different experiences of loss. The stories that you all shared made me aware of certain things, like the blaming that parents inflict upon themselves. But Dion, I remember you wisely pointed out that you always remind yourself that you did the best you could with the best information that you had. And I enjoyed learning how ritual, spirituality, and religion guided many of you, and especially how finding your armies were crucial in your journey, and that you all tried to be gracious with friends and family who may not have said the right thing or did the right thing. So I'm going to turn it to you, Dion and Myra. Can you tell me something that was significant to you as part of your discussion last week? Just one thing.
How we all felt like old friends, although we had only spoken to Myra. Yeah.
Thank you.
I agree with that sentiment. And I would just add that I felt like there was like a real energy created in the space, despite being constrained by these ridiculous Zoom boxes that I am both grateful for and exhausted by.
Okay, thank you. Dion, I'm going to kick this off to you to help ground us. Thank you so much.
Hello there. I'm welcoming you all into my family. So welcome, family. As Andy has graciously introduced us, I am Dion. And wherever you are in the world, if you're able to put your feet on the ground, please do. So for me, I am sitting in Washington Heights by my neighbor Andy in another building on Lenape land, and I have my bare feet on the floor so I can feel the wood under my toes. And if you cannot put your feet on the floor, just notice whatever you feel underneath you. Now, I'm looking at your beautiful faces, so I'm keeping my eyes open. If you choose to close your eyes, you can tilt them down or look towards your nose and start to notice the sensations you have. And become aware of your breath. Our breath so often is with us and so often forgotten. So in this moment, we'll connect to what we're feeling and just noticing the air coming into our nostrils, into our sinuses, into the back of your throat, and into your lungs. And then you can even follow the journey of the exhale from your lungs, through your throat, your sinuses, and out of your nostrils. What we've started is conscious breathing. So often we're so unaware of what's happening to us, in our bodies, around our bodies. I invite you simply to share in this space of conscious breath. And I'll simply guide you before I add another breathing exercise to inhale deeply and exhale slowly. And as you continue to inhale and exhale, you may notice other body parts. Once you slow your mind down and pay attention to your breath, you may become aware of something that needs attention in your shoulders, your back, your feet, your neck. And don't feel limited. You don't have to stay still. You might need to circle your head and just notice how it feels on the right and the left. You might wiggle your toes, spread your fingers, just becoming keenly connected to and aware of your body and your breath. Long, slow inhales and long, slow exhales. And if you feel the need to stand up and see what that feels like, do that. Whether you're seated or standing, eyes open or closed, you're keenly aware of your breath moving through your body. We'll do a few breaths together. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to be silent just for a moment so you can hear and feel your breath moving throughout your body. Quite often, our minds become truly busy, and the power of a few deep breaths with awareness can bring you in connection to something other than what's going on in your brain. I'm going to add a different breath now. We did conscious breathing, but there's a breath I learned about within the past year called the busy bee breath or Brahmari. And it said it was the breath of the busy mind. And I was like, oh, that's for me. The thoughts that often fill your brain to the point where you're just not sure if there's space for anything else. And your attention is drawn from thing 1 to thing 2 to thing 3, then over to thing Z and back to B, and until your brain is swirling and so many shapes are made. So if we think of a bee buzzing around and just get that vision in your mind's eye, eyes open or closed, we've all seen a bee, you've heard the buzzing. So now with our breath, almost like humming, creating this breath of the Brahmari, the buzzing breath, it's going to be a humming sound. So wherever you are, take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, hum. Until all that breath is gone, and then you'll inhale another breath, and when you exhale, buzz the breath out, and notice the tingling on your teeth and your mouth and your jaw and your nose, until you almost might feel it in your head and your ears, and your whole head is buzzing. We'll do this just a few more times. And since no one else can hear you, you move as fast or as slow as you are breathing your breath. Inhaling and humming and buzzing as you exhale. And if you're available, if it's possible for you to close your eyes, do it with your eyes closed. I'll close my eyes with you. Notice the tingling. Just a few more breaths together. Inhale. Buzz it out. And in between that inhale and the buzzing exhale, notice the feeling on your cheeks, your eyes, your nose, your teeth. 2 more times. In. Hum and buzz it out. Our last busy buzzing breath together. In and out. Releasing control of that breath, noticing what you're feeling, how your head is feeling, the front of your forehead, your ears, everything. I feel so tingly now. And as we continue to breathe and notice how your body feels, take a little stock of where you started and how you're feeling now. If we are so fortunate and so blessed that our breath is with us, we can bring awareness to our breath, and our breath can bring awareness to our mind and our body. Together, wherever you are, we're going to take more breaths and more sound. Take a deep breath in, and this time, sigh it out. Another slow, deep breath in, and a long sigh out. Another slow breath in, 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 in. Hold it in. And then the loudest sigh ever, let it go. Ha, ha. And if your eyes were closed, gently open your eyes, wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Notice what you see to your right and to your left. And take a slow pause to acknowledge how you feel now. I will quite honestly and vulnerably bring awareness to I was nervous beforehand, but seeing your faces and breathing with you has brought calm to my mind and to my body. And I'm so ready and open to receive what else we can connect to and feel as we add motion to our bodies. I'll ask you in your mind and with your breath to pick 3 words, whatever they are. I am love, I am light, I am radiant, whatever it is, and repeat that to yourself just 3 times mentally now as you breathe. Another breath. Repeat the words to yourself. One last time. In. Repeat your words as you exhale. Place one hand on your heart and place another hand on your belly. And breathe into your hands and breathe gratitude for this breath. Breathe gratitude for this moment that we have together. In deep acknowledgement and awareness of this moment could not exist without each and every one of you that are present. I give thanks. And as you're ready, you can relax your palms down, open your eyes. Thank you for breathing with me and bringing peace to my heart and mind. I appreciate you. And I'll pass it over to my wonderful leader, Myra.
Dion, that was incredible. Thank you. I knew it would be. Oh my goodness. Oh, thank you. Maybe we can all just give Dion a bow of appreciation. What a gift. Thank you. I I want to just hold on to the concept. Well, first, thank you all for being here. Thank you, Andy, Reimagine, Nicole, Dion, for becoming a new friend. And to all of you, thank you for trusting me, for trusting us, for creating a sense of safety and connection. This is going to be a beautiful experiment. We're going to move on Zoom together. And so I'm going to invite you to indulge me. I'm going to invite you to participate as you wish. In the sibling loss series, I heard a beautiful phrase that observation is participation. So there's also never any pressure. But really the goal of tonight is for each of you to walk away with a few micro rituals, a few micro movements that you can take with you wherever you are, in an office, on a walk, and we'll be moving together. And I come to movement. This is the last, I promise that you won't be moving. The last time I talk or you won't be moving. But I come to movement from a place of real joy. I grew up, my kitchen table education outside of Philadelphia was sort of sport, service, and school. I have an older brother and I was a bit of a tomboy and I loved playing sports. But it wasn't really until my daughter Havi's diagnosis and death that I needed to understand what it was about movement that was so healing. And I knew that I needed movement now more than ever, but I couldn't understand really what was happening from a neurophysiological perspective to make it so powerful and protective. And that led me to a mentor and advisor, Dr. Bruce Perry. His book that he co-authored with Oprah, What Happened to You, introduces many of these concepts around movement and the way it can support our traumatic grief or our loss experiences. But the three words that I want, if you take anything away, that I want you to take away from this evening are really his, on the power of patterned, repetitive, and rhythmic activity. It's those three words that make movement so healing. And I'll explain why in a few moments. And we're gonna tap into that sort of activity in ways, as I said, that I'm hoping you can apply and integrate into daily life, even if you just have a few moments. That is really about finding ways. In our last discussion, we talked about the power of integration. And so micro rituals are really beautiful ways to integrate our grief, our love, our pain, our joy in a way that can be nourishing. This time is yours. If you're on video, I have a better sense of how you're experiencing this, but if you're off video, I hope that you leave with some value. Dion invited you to place your feet on the floor, the ground, the rug, the carpet beneath you, and I'll invite you to take your shoes off if you want as well. Just kick those off. And make contact with the ground. Making contact, feeling held is really essential to our time together, and it's essential to feeling supported in grief. So I'm going to invite you to just gently sway as I talk. You can do this seated or standing. I'm going to stand at different moments. If you get nauseous from either swaying or watching people sway, stop, please. But really, this gentle sway is going to be sort of a constant throughout our time together. Swaying or rocking taps into that patterned, repetitive, rhythmic activity that we learned from Dr. Bruce Perry is so inherently regulating. And the reason it's regulating is because it is the strongest somatosensory memory that we have. That memory is from the time we were in our mother's womb, hearing her heartbeat. Ba-dum, ba-dum. So now sway and tap your heart with me. Ba-dum. And that memory is stronger than any shard of trauma that we're carrying. And it's why when we hold hard and heavy things, that regulating mechanism is naturally protective, and we're going to use it tonight. There's going to be 3 parts to our workshop together, our time together, our experience together. Part 1 is we're going to actually be in circle together. And I'm going to talk us through how we're going to imagine being in circle. Part 2 is we're going to take a walk together, or a hike, or a bike ride, whatever form of motor activity is most comfortable for you. We're going to do that together tonight, where you are though. And then part 3 is just going to be a very brief kind of grief yoga routine. There's going to be a seated part and a standing part. And I am no yogi, really. And so for any beginners, please don't feel intimidated. This is inspired by a dear friend and an incredible grief yoga instructor, Erin Percy. And I just hope I leave you with a few practices that might be supportive to your grief. So in this moment, I'm going to invite you to visualize us all in circle together. So find someone to your left and to your right who you are standing next to. You can either be standing and swaying or seated and swaying. I want you to open your eyes for a moment and visualize being across the circle from someone. Choose someone, really inhabit this. And then if you like, you can close your eyes, and as Dion helped us with, you can bring that gaze inward, which can help with connection and sort of a return to your internal needs, or you can keep your eyes open. Why circle? Well, drawing from ancient ritual tradition, circle is powerful. It meets what we call our intimacy barrier needs. We're close, but we're not uncomfortable. We stand shoulder to shoulder, parallel to those physically next to us. And yet when we're looking into the eyes of another, that person is far enough away to temper any self-consciousness. And so we're going to continue in circle and sway, and we're going to breathe together. We're going to take 3 deep breaths. If you were on our first session, you'll remember that a deep breath that we'll take together is we're going to take a big inhale through our nose and then an extra sip at the top of that breath. So it should look like this. And then a long exhale through your nose or mouth. And imagine that breath landing at the toes you wiggled with Dion. And we're going to do that 3 times together. So here we go. And that big exhale, that conscious breath work that Dion led us through, that actually effectively remove some excess carbon dioxide that builds up when we're taking shallow breaths. And that when we take shallow breaths, we tend to underbreathe, which is a common response to feeling overwhelmed or paralyzed or out of place, all natural in grief. In circle together, we're going to tap our heart 3 times and honor whatever's coming up for us. We're going to gently lift our elbows and imagine tapping them with the person to our left and right, connecting to our own deepest pain from our heart space so that we can try to access theirs. So I can feel Dion's love and heartache for Siwe, and she can feel mine for Havi's. As we sway, I'm going to read a poem from Malka Tussman on presence. This is all a way of helping us get to a place where we're going to be able to really move together. This poem is called Today is Forever. I stroll often in a nearby park, old trees wildly overgrown, bushes and flowers blooming all 4 seasons, a creek babbling childishly over pebbles, a small bridge with rough-hewn railings. This is my little park. It's mild and gentle in the breath song of the park, and good to catch some gossip from the flutterers and flyers. Leaning on the railing of the bridge, seeing myself in clear water, I ask, little stream, will you tumble and flow here forever? The creek babbles back, laughing. Today is forever. Forever is right now. I smile. A sparkful of believing, a sighful of not believing. Today is forever. Forever is right now. And with that, we are now ready to embody the last part of our circle together, which is naming. The power of naming our people, our children who have died. If we were in person, the way we would conduct this experience is I would say, I'm Myra, Havi's mom. And everyone in the circle would say back, Havi. But for our experience tonight, we're just going to say our child or children's names. So we won't say our own. And we're actually going to do this, if you're in a place where you can, we're going to come off mute. And we're going to name our people at the same time. We're going to take this moment to feel the oneness of our losses and also the completely unique loss experience we each carry. That our child, that our children is ours alone to hold, to carry, to love, to nourish, and also that together we can hold our children. And so we're going to take 7 sways together, starting to the left. And then when I say ready, we're going to come off mute together. Okay? Get some thumbs up. Are we okay? All right, here we go. So we'll do 7, starting to the left. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, here we go. Everyone's going to come off mute. And on the count of 3, let's say our people's names. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Siwe.
Havi. Come on, come off mute with me. Are we allowed to? Oh, you can't. Oh no, the functionality failed us. This is devastating.
Hold on. I'm going to
All right.
try to fix
Andy's
this.
going to step in.
Well, let's
Andy's
see.
going to help us.
Hold on.
Unmute.
Allow participants to unmute themselves. There. I'm so sorry.
Okay, all right, let's do, on the count of 3, we'll do it again. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Nicholas Rizzo.
Bueller, Vitrano.
Richard, Lily.
Let's do it again. On the count of three. 1, 2, 3.
Marshall.
Nicholas,
And
I.
Taylor Vitrano.
Last time, okay? But this time we aren't quiet, okay? Our voices are emphatic and passionate, and we name our people so we can move them into the foreground of this moment and into community with each other. They're palpably with us, and we become more complete with the power of that integration. And when we name them, we reaffirm our identity and we heighten our self-awareness. And it's this self-awareness that leads to self-trust. We talked about self-trust in the last session. And so here we go, okay? On 3. 1, 2, 3.
Nicholas,
Vitrano.
Perfect.
Thank you. Thank you. In closing our circle together, let's stay in swaying and let's wiggle those toes. And imagine that that energy that we all just created is moving from our toes all the way up to our nose. And we'll take a big deep breath together with an extra sip at the top. Just before we move into our guided walk, hike, run, bike, our finding steadiness in motion, I'm going to invite you to respond to 2 prompts. Reflect on them as we sway, and then if you'd like, you can populate the chat or write them next to you, whatever feels right for you. I'm going to ask you to answer these 2 prompts in only 6 words. No fewer and no more. And I'll give an example. The first is, what is one story of hope you are carrying? So that's one story of hope. And the second is, what is one story of heaviness, loss, or grief that you're carrying that you wish someone knew? I'll give my 2 examples. On hope, when my toddler laughs until pee. Okay. My story of heaviness that I wish someone knew is ask me about her big eyes. Okay. 6 words each. If you would like in this moment to stand up and just pace as you are meditating on this 6-word prompt. Story of hope, story of heaviness. We'll take about a minute together. Hmm. Start to come back, about 30 seconds. And as you come back, can rock with me. I'm going to explain the power of this exercise that we just did together. It is embodying the unity of opposites concept. The idea that we can hold two seemingly opposite feelings at the same time, hope and heaviness. And when we turn towards both, it deepens and expands our presence in this world. These chats are so gorgeous and so heartbreaking, and thank you. And as we rock, take in the phrases, note the expansion. Notice which of these phrases was easier for you to come up with, which of these stories poured out of you, and notice which one was stuck. Usually the one that was stuck is the one that deserves our attention. With the beauty and the heartbreak that's populating the chat and this space, I'm going to invite you to put your hands on your heart. And I'm going to have us stand, okay? If you can't stand, please, there's never any pressure. This is just going to be a very short standing that we're going to do before our guided walk. You might not be able to see my feet, which is okay. When people say that you can pace or you can walk, one way to do that and find some presence is to use this deconstructed walk that comes from Jon Kabat-Zinn's work. The 4 words that I'll put in the chat for this deconstructed walk are lift, move, place, shift. So when we walk, we are literally going to deconstruct our walk. I'm going to show you my feet. You can't really see them. You can understand though. So if you really slow down a walk, a step, it's lift, move, place, shift your body weight. Lift, move, place, shift. Lift, move, place, shift. Lift, move, place, shift. And come back to me, and we'll either come to seated or sway. When we go on our imaginary walk together, our imagined walk, it's really important that if you start feeling out of body, you can use this lift, move, place, shift mantra to stay in your walk. You cannot deconstruct a walk any more deeply than that. So I'm going to speak for a few minutes. I'm going to explain what we're going to do. And then when you hear the music, you are going to imagine going on a walk, a hike, a bike, a run, and we're going to see how it feels, okay? So from Dr. Bruce Perry, a really essential thing to understand is that visualization of specific movement creates neural activation that is sometimes indistinguishable from that produced by actual movement. So I'll say that one more time. Visualization of specific movement can create neural activation that is sometimes indistinguishable from that produced by actual movement, which means we can tap into the power of movement by using our mind, but it requires focus and practice. So we're going to try it tonight. The key here is to work from a known and familiar motor activity to you. So I won't get the same activation from a world-class pole vaulter if I try to visualize pole vaulting, because I'm not so comfortable at that. So I will likely visualize being on a walk or a run. And we are going to use a trance-like induction narration that I'm going to do to help us get there. So we're going to start by resting our hands on our legs. You can either be seated or standing. And you're going to tap into bilateral tapping. So tap your hands on your quads. You can rock. You can knock at the heart. Whatever motor scaffold you need. You're just going to start getting comfortable tapping into this patterned, repetitive, rhythmic activity. You're going to turn inwards, okay? Direct your attention to being right where your feet are, to appreciating that we're here and trusting that we can put one foot in front of the other. Lift, move, place, shift. Even when it feels impossible, we build our capacity to pay attention the same way we build muscles in our body by practicing this dosed, moderate, and predictable way of moving. When we're present, we create intention. If there are any Latin scholars, intention comes from the root tendere, which means to stretch. So stretch with me, lift those arms out wide, open your heart, close your hands, do it again. When we do physical activity, we know that we need to stretch, and that same is true when we're doing emotional work. That is why setting intention is powerful, because when we set intention, we can stretch to allow our heart space to expand and our mind to expand to hold what's impossible. On our walk or run or hike, wherever you're going to go, we're going to use the intention of looking up to help us stay present. So can everyone look up for me? Lift your chin gently. And when you start moving, you may gently raise your gaze above what's directly in front of you on your imagined walk. Being careful, of course, not to strain your neck, not to trip over something. And you're going to try to channel the mantra slow and soft. As you lift your gaze and you tilt your neck slowly, maybe you notice the top of a tree, the design of tiles on a roof that catches your eye, the shape of a cloud. Maybe you notice a new smell, a tiny insect. Maybe the way the light hits the pavement, or a deepening crack in the sidewalk. Maybe on your walk, you'll notice how the wind either propels you forward or holds you back, but you're going to notice yourself noticing. If you come out of the present moment when you're moving, I want you to use looking up as a way to recenter and send an implicit message to yourself that you can look up and stay steady on your feet all at the same time. So we're a moment away from our walk, and I'm going to leave you with Pico Iyer, beautiful travel writer, who says, if travel is like love, it is in the end, mostly because it's a heightened state of awareness in which we are mindful, receptive, and dimmed by familiarity and ready to be transformed. That's why the best trips, the best walks, like the best love affairs, like the ones with our children, never really end. So with that, enjoy your walk. When the music stops, you'll come back to me and hear my voice. Wherever you go, we are here holding you.
power of love is here now. The power of now is here now. The power of you, me, is here to create magic on earth. The power of love is here now. The power of now is here now. The power of you and me is here to create magic on earth. Power of love is here now. Power of now is here now. Power of you and me is here to create magic on earth. Power of love is here now. Power of now is here now. Power of you and me is here to create magic on earth. Let the water wash away your tears. Let the fire burn away your fears. Let the wind blow into your life such faith and trust. Oh, let the earth hold you, take care of you, and nurture you. Oh, the power of love is here now. The power of now is here now. The power of you and me is here to create magic on earth. The power of love is here now. The power of now is here now. The power of you and me is here to create magic on earth. Power of love is here now. Power of now is here now. Power of you and me is here to create magic on earth. Power of love is here now. Power of now is here now. Power of you and me is here to create magic on earth. Let the water wash away your tears. Let the fire burn away your fears. Let the wind blow into your life such faith and trust. Oh, let the earth hold you, take care of you, nurture you. Power of now, power of you is here to create magic. Power of love is here now. Power of now is here now. Power of you is here to create magic.
Start to come back from wherever you are. Find my voice. Find some steadiness, some stillness. And we'll return together from our walk to Pico Iyer again, finding a sanctuary, a place apart from time, is not so different from finding faith. My wish for you was that that walk prompted some idea about how to find sanctuary amidst the heaviness and the pain. And if you're moved to share via chat where you went on your walk or your run or your hike or anything you noticed, please do. And as you're doing that, we're going to move into some grief yoga together, and we're going to begin in standing in just a minute. if you are not comfortable standing, there is no pressure to stand, of course. Thank you, Michael. Okay, so we're gonna stand together if you're up for it. I'm gonna play some soft music during these sets, okay? Let's read as we see where people went. Hopefully not make this too loud for us. Okay. Okay. Here we go. So we are going to do 5 different grief yoga exercises together and standing, and we're going to repeat twice, okay? Molly, that's gorgeous. Can someone type their lucky number or favorite number? It's got to be less than 20 in the chat. We're going to use that. 7. Okay, Michael. Oh, sorry. 7 is the one I saw. Okay, here we go. So we're going to start with hip circles, okay? We're going to do 7 times together, going one direction. 4, 5, 6, 7, and we're going to switch. And I want you to notice that our grief is not meant to be moved on from. It's meant to be embodied, to be present. Switch again when you're comfortable. It's meant to be moved with. And as we take that concept of moving with, we're going to move into just some knocking, okay? Let your hands land where they do. This movement should originate at your core, okay? Gentle fists. And your hands will land where they land. Don't worry. Don't worry where they land. Just let them land where they land. And let's start the mantra, here I am here. We'll do it 7 times together. Here I am here. Here I am here. Here I am here. Staying with that mantra, shoulder rolls. Notice the expansion that you might start to feel. Notice how maybe you've forgotten to breathe. Switch directions when you're ready. Here I am here. We're creating moving meditation together. Anytime we're in slow movement and connecting to our breath, we are in movement meditation. We're going to tap, starting from to our feet, tapping your feet, and starting to work all the way up your legs. Tap your calves, your shins, your knees, behind your knees, your glutes, your quads. Come all the way up to your belly. Here I am here. Here I am here. Tapping your arms, gently rocking, and coming all the way up to your heart. Knocking on your heart, trying to break it open, wide open, letting it be wide open. tapping your face. Here I am. I am here. Say with me. Here I am. I am here. And into mountain pose, which is just standing hip width apart. If you're open to it, palms open. We're all just trying to find our footing, trying to find steadiness. Gently rock. Here I am. I am here. 7 rocks. Back to our hips. This time I'm not going to speak, okay? We're just going to do this routine together. Hip circles. Follow me or go at your own pace. Make our way back to seating for our second set. When you're ready, we're going to do heart circles. Heart circles together. Hands on your knees, either open or down, depending on what energy you need. Open is inviting other energy in, and downward is maybe needed for groundedness, for turning inward, and just reverse direction when you are ready. For me, this is a little bit of an internal experience. Close my eyes, gaze inward, notice what I need.
Before I was preventing migraine with...
We're going to move into a seated heart opener. So hands behind your back. Your fingers, your palms are pointing out and you are squeezing your shoulder blades. Tip your head back like that gentle gaze upwards that we did on our walk together, and invite some openness through the heart space. This is expansion. This is hope. This is vulnerability. We're going to move into seated cat-cow. So just do your best. This is the unity of opposites. This is contraction and expansion embodied. Complete expansive exhale, drawing into the spine. Deep inhale. Cat-cow is unity of opposites for us in grief. Gentle fists in front of us. We're just going to punch the air. This is anger. This is anger. This is our anger embodied. Punch that air. Cry if you need to. Punch that air. And then we are going to swipe. We are going to swipe. We are going to cleanse. Anytime we're intentionally interacting with anger, we'll take a moment to cleanse. And then if we can, if Andy can allow us to unmute, we're going to hum and rock together before we do that set one more time seated. So I want to hear all the humming, the vibration together if we can. So. And back into our seated heart opener.
Wow.
Opening with our hands behind our back, fingers pointing out. Our head is tilted up ever so slightly. Our heart is opened. We're humming if we want. We're noticing expansion. And then we're into seated cat-cows as best we can. Bringing our stories of hope and heaviness back in. And then we're gentle fists as we need. And we're rocking and we're humming. And I'll play our last song together. And just sway or rock. feel the love and the connection and the immense, immeasurable pain among us all, and the biggest, deepest love, and the way that grief and gratitude, as Dion started us off with, are so beautifully, inextricably intertwined. Invite you to wiggle your toes, squish your heels into the ground beneath you, come back. Take a deep breath together with that extra sip at the top. I welcome you back and thank you for that time together. And I am so moved by everything I was reading in the chat. And I wish for more time together in the future. And I think we have a couple moments for any final words or questions, and then I'll turn it over to Andy. So thank you all.
Yes, thank you, Myra. And thank you, Dion. That was very, very moving. It's good to move. It's good to move with all of you. I hope you'll all consider registering for next Wednesday's session. It's the final event in our three-part series. We'll be hosting a dialogue between Dr. Joanne Cacciatore and Joyelle Mulheron. It's on March 26th. Hope to see you there. I do want to share something with all of you, this opportunity.
Come in.
Hold on one second. Yes. Okay. Yes, here we go. All right, so Reimagine is developing something new in this digital space, this imperfect digital space. It's a healing and growth platform, and it's a safe space to feel supported by like-minded individuals experiencing challenges. And it's an opportunity also to unlock your creative potential, to channel your experiences and emotions into action and growth. As part of this platform, we are offering a pathway for groups called Why Wait? It's designed to help you take steps towards setting goals, fulfilling wishes, and completing chapters in your life. And we have a few seats left. It could be pursuing a dream, it could be deepening relationships, or something completely different. The program runs 10 weeks, and it starts on Wednesday, April 9th. It's a guided experience offering self-reflective activities, deep discussion, and a personalized project focused on growth. And if any of this speaks to you, I encourage you to learn more. You can find the details in the registration link that Nicole is pasting in the chat. And we'll also paste the email of our colleague, Deb Gardner, if you have any questions about it. You can just write her. So it starts, yes, April 9th, and please register if you're interested. I also encourage you to complete our survey, which Nicole is also going to paste in the chat. We want to learn how to do this better. Your feedback is really important to us. Within that, there's an opportunity to make a donation to Reimagine, big or small if you wish. Doesn't matter. It's all good and it's all appreciated. Before we go, I just want all of us to show some love to Myra, Dion, and to yourselves for showing up tonight. Thank you, everyone. Wishing you a good night and hope to see you next Wednesday.